Do you ever get the feeling people are incapable of not caring?
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're discussing how Brendan Fraser prepared for The Whale.
I wouldn't have it any other way, and I'm grateful to be doing the job that I love.
For this list, we'll be looking at how Fraser transformed for what's being hailed as the finest performance of his career and perhaps one of the all-time greatest. Did you see The Whale? Let us know in the comments. For much of his career, Fraser has been known for action adventures like The Mummy and comedies like George of the Jungle. However, he proved his dramatic chops in films like School Ties, Gods and Monsters, and The Quiet American.
In a war, you use the tools you've got, and right now he's the best we have.
For director Darren Aronofsky, it was a trailer for the 2006 indie thriller Journey to the End of the Night that drew him to Fraser.
I ran upstairs to my mom's room, and there she was, and she was just like, she was making this sound that I couldn't understand her.
In that lesser-known film, Fraser played a man with gambling problems and substance use disorder. The Whale also deals with the latter, centering on a 600-pound man who can't stop binge eating. Having explored similar topics in Requiem for a Dream and Black Swan, Aronofsky was tailored to bring The Whale to the screen.
The play just moved me deeply and made me feel in one of those ways that just touches you in every possible way.
Aronofsky wanted to adapt Samuel D. Hunter's 2012 play for nearly a decade, but he couldn't find the right actor to play the lead until he realized Fraser's potential. After meeting Fraser, Aronofsky knew that he was right for the role.
When he left my office after our first meeting, I felt it. I was like, oh, this is exciting.
Aronofsky sensed that Fraser could create a character who we'd empathize with in the first 5 minutes and grow to love by the 20-minute mark. Aronofsky has a reputation for rejuvenating stumbling careers, Mickey Rourke's Oscar-nominated turn in The Wrestler being one example.
You know what? The only ones who are going to tell me when I'm through doing my thing is you people here.
After a series of unfortunate setbacks, Fraser was thirsty for a comeback role that would challenge his body and mind. Fraser fully committed to playing protagonist Charlie, telling Variety, quote, "Everything I had to offer is everything that you see on the screen."
I was never that far away. I guess I'm supposed to say you can't get rid of me that easy.
With little CGI used, Fraser had to be in the makeup chair for 4 to 6 hours per day. Sometimes the prosthetics added 50 pounds. Other times it was closer to 300.
Costuming, apparatus, makeup, and he would be doing a scan, a 3D rendering, printing of that, a mold of that, and then more traditional applications.
The Whale is a claustrophobic experience with Charlie mostly restricted to a couch, using a walker and wheelchair to get around his tiny apartment. Even with this limited setting, maneuvering would be a Herculean effort.
Whenever I could give Brendan a break, it was really important to do that because of how difficult. And I was like, you know what, this is typing on a screen. Let Brendan partly get out of the suit, relax, and let's shoot some shots to let him recover.
Leading to the shoot, Fraser spent months training with a dance instructor to figure out how Charlie should move. Fraser also met with members of the Obesity Action Coalition, learning about their diets and struggles. Not just their physical struggles, but how obesity changed their personal relationships, the harassment that others inflicted upon them, and the link between weight and depression.
Overall, they impressed on me that they want this story to be told with authenticity. I felt a sense of duty to uphold that.
Calling pop culture superfans everywhere. Do you love to argue with WatchMojo's top 10 ranks? Introducing WatchMojo's first and very own party game. Bring your superpowers to the table and fight for your pick to be at the top of the list. It's all the fun of the comment section, but in real life.
Fraser watched various movies, documentaries, and reality shows about the subject, but only so much research could prepare him for the uncomfortable shoot. Speaking to Vanity Fair, Fraser compared his torso prosthetic to a straitjacket, quote, "with sleeves that went on, airbrushed by hand, to look identical as human skin, right down to the hand-punched hair."
Like working in a 3D capacity, he had absolute control over every aspect of Charlie's body, the size of the pores, the placement of them even. He was able to be authentic and exacting.
While the set was small, there were about 70 steps to the makeup room. A few assistants were always close by to help Fraser get around. Even standing up and sitting down required extra hands. When the makeup came off, Fraser had trouble finding his bearings, suffering from vertigo.
Made me feel a little sort of dizzy, but there's like vertigo, but there's something about owning and embodying that corporal being that gave a sense of authenticity to play the part.
Fraser reflected, quote, "I learned quickly that it takes an incredibly strong person inside that body to be that person." While makeup artist Adrienne Moreau has received praise, the prosthetics have also been a subject of controversy. Sarah Paulson received criticism for donning a bodysuit as Linda Tripp in Impeachment American Crime Story.
If you'll excuse me, some of us have real jobs.
Whenever there's a list about Friends moments that didn't age well, a pre-weight loss Monica's often the thumbnail. The Whale has sparked similar discussions, some arguing it contributes to, quote, fat phobia. However, there are several differences between Fraser's portrayal and the aforementioned examples.
We wanted to be truthful and honest in every step because making the film was an exercise in empathy.
It'd be one thing if Fraser had to gain 10 or 20 pounds for this role, but Charlie weighs 600 pounds. There isn't a safe or healthy way any actor could gain and then lose that amount of weight. Method acting is one thing, but that would be going too far.
We can see that he is a man who cares intensely about connecting with one another, and the corporal being that he inhabits is really the least important thing about him.
Some asked Aronofsky why he didn't just cast an actor who already matches Charlie's weight. Aronofsky replied, quote, "Outside of not being able to find an actor who could pull off the emotions of the role, it just becomes a crazy chase. Like, if you couldn't find a 600-pound actor, is a 300-pound actor or 400-pound actor enough?"
It took 10 years to cast this role, and I considered pretty much everyone on the planet for the role. And Sam's writing would attract many actors to play the role, so that wasn't the problem.
Casting someone with a serious health problem would also invite numerous risks throughout the shoot. Plus, an art house drama like The Whale rarely gets made without an established actor like Fraser in the lead. Aronofsky concluded, quote, "There's no way you can cast someone to play this job, so we had to use makeup to get there." Fraser himself could also relate to Charlie on a level.
Charlie's not that guy, but I did learn to play Charlie. You do have to be physically strong, and I think poetically I learned a lot about people who carry a lot of weight, that there's an incredibly strong individual in whatever shape their body is in.
One user shamed Fraser on social media, comparing a shirtless photo of him in George of the Jungle to a more recent paparazzi pic.
That hurt.
Many of Fraser's fans were quick to defend him, but the before and after pic was still cruel. Various websites and tabloids have made similar mean-spirited comparisons. Discussing The Whale, Fraser told Newsweek, quote, "I'm not a small man, and I don't know what the metric is to qualify to play the role. I only know that I had to give as honest a performance as I can." Watching the film, it's clear that Fraser did everything in his power to portray Charlie as authentically as possible, learning from people who suffer from obesity while going on a personal journey.
Obesity is the last domain of prejudice that we as a society still haven't changed the way we speak about it, the way we refer to people, the way that we care about one another.
Although Fraser isn't exactly like Charlie, he shares a fair deal in common with him. Both went through a devastating divorce. Where Charlie sinks into depression after his boyfriend dies, Fraser was overcome with grief when his mother passed away from cancer. Fraser is no stranger to medical problems either, enduring surgeries on his knees, back, and vocal cords. Charlie might not be an exact reflection of Fraser's real-life tragedies, but there is a correlation between the actor and character that shines through in emotional ways. Fraser doesn't make The Whale about himself, however. He makes it about the people who have been mocked, dehumanized, and outcasted due to their weight, reminding everyone that these are human beings deserving of love and support.
I do believe in the power of film and culture to change the conversation in a way that
allows people to open their hearts and minds a bit more.
As the shoot neared its conclusion, Fraser got somewhat used to being under all those prosthetics, or at least as comfortable as one can be. At the same time, Fraser reportedly felt, quote, depleted by the end.
Everybody had to be pretty patient with me, getting into it and out of it. And I had a great team of like 5-7 people to help me physically stand up and get, like I said, I'm not the guy I used to be. These knees ain't what they once were.
Aronofsky could sense that Fraser needed a break, telling him, quote, "We're going to come back and do this tomorrow. You peaked. It happens. You peaked." Fraser ultimately got through the rest of the shoot, but it took every ounce of energy. One of the reasons Fraser accepted this role was to see, quote, what he was capable of.
My journey to where I am now has been to explore as many characters as I can. And this presented the biggest challenge to me that I wanted.
Fraser isn't sure if he could give a performance like this again. Whatever future roles await Fraser, his performance in The Whale is already going down as one for the ages. At the Venice International Film Festival, The Whale garnered a 6-minute standing ovation, with much of the applause directed at a teary-eyed Fraser. He received another standing ovation at the Toronto International Film Festival, along with the TIFF Tribute Award for performance.
I must thank you for keeping me in the job that I love, because it's nice work if you can get it.
Fraser has been nominated for a Gotham Award. At this point, it'd be shocking if Fraser wasn't at least nominated for an Oscar, especially with endorsements from stars like Dwayne Johnson. Fraser faces stiff competition from Austin Butler in Elvis and Colin Farrell in The Banshees of Inisherin. Win or lose, though, Fraser has given the performance of a lifetime.
People are amazing.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.